speak for 1 second so I can check if the sound levels are okay?
Yeah, I can speak as much as you want me to.
Okay, that's enough, Hardy. Here we go. back to important things. Pillars of Gold as the first map is best of 3 between Reynor and Dream. Reynor doing pretty hot in this group so far. How's Dream been doing? I haven't really caught his games yet.
He is 1-2. He beat Time and he lost to Inno and Stats 1-2. So he could have been 3-0. Like the games are pretty close, but he isn't. Yep. So it's pretty bad.
What I heard is that his specialty is TVZ.
Yeah.
This is what Solar said. I believe he's 6'8" on the Korean ladder or something like that. 6'8", 6'7". Like he's actually insane. That definitely one of the Terrans to look out for. So interested to see how he will do against Reynor, who says he doesn't really lose games.
Is that what Reynor said? He doesn't really lose games?
Yeah, sometimes against the occasional cannon rush, but that's really it. He doesn't lose. Because whenever I ask him for replays to cast on my YouTube channel, he always sends me wins. I'm like, Reynor, right now on my YouTube channel, I have 15 games of you and you lose 0 of them. Like, the people are going to know what's going to happen. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, Kevin, but I just don't lose any games. I'm like, well, I tell think that's true, you know? You don't win every tournament you play. It's like, no, Kev, you don't understand. Like, I just don't lose. I'm like, all right, Reynor. I'll see you this afternoon in the Douyu Cup 2020 then. See how it works out there for you.
To be fair, he actually... I feel like he actually was meant to lose yesterday, and he was meant to lose against Hero Marine a little bit as well. But he didn't. So maybe it's true. Maybe, like even when he's losing, he doesn't actually lose. It's just a process.
What a guy!
What a guy! You gonna start with the intros as you've been so hyped to cast some Dream?
I'm actually very hyped to cast Dream, but you already mentioned his name now. So in the top right spawning is the Red Terran player, the man that's gonna be picked first for Wardy's team in the upcoming team league. It's gonna be Dream.
I don't get a team.
Oh, you don't get a team?
No, I don't. I'm not casting or anything.
Oh well.
Purely
just organizing, eh?
Purely admin work. Yeah. People finally saw my worth in StarCraft. You know, Twitch chat's been saying it for years. Like, what you don't know how to cast? So in Blizzard were like, "Yeah, right. You can just be the organizer." Feels good. Wow.
Oh, they actually were playing on East. We're back. I like how that's both of our reaction is all right, back into the game.
Do you want to re-intro?
Nah, we're good.
No,
we're good.
Well, you know, people might forget he was in the top right and the bottom left. That's all.
That's true.
But you guys can figure out for yourselves. So you talk so much about Dream. Do you know what he's going to play?
I think usually he plays Bio. Honestly, I don't know quite what his openers are. But usually what I know is that he plays Bio.
Yeah, he plays a lot of... he likes 3cc a lot of the time. Like, just very passive 3cc.
Oh, I did actually know that. Like, the very fast one, right? Before Hellion even. Yeah. Him and Inno absolutely love that. Yeah. I like watching it as well.
He also likes a good bit of battle cruisers, so... I'll see if he brings
Does he go into mech from BCs?
Yeah, depends on the maps. I think on Pillars of Gold he wouldn't, but like if he plays Ice and Chrome in this series, which I'd be surprised, then he probably plays mech there. Maybe on like Eternal. Probably depends how the first game goes too.
I think Chrome is gonna be a veto though, isn't it? In a best of 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and then everyone started playing it.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like I had such a good understanding of these maps when the map pool started, and I was like, right, well, guys, we're not going to see much TVZ on Ice and Chrome because Zerg's are just going to dominate this map. And then Ice and Chrome was like the first map in every TVZ, and I was like, what is going on?
And Zerg did dominate on this map, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did.
Part. Yeah.
The great thing is Terrans actually tried to play Bio on it for like the first couple of weeks as well. And it's like, I feel like I casted a game of every Terran that exists, playing a game of Bio, and then never again. From that point on, it was only mech. So...
Yeah. There was a very good game between very funny game between Serral and Marine Lord on that map in the DreamHack Masters.
Yeah, I remember. That was a long one.
Yeah, it was a very, very long one. And one where I think Marine Lord actually had a pretty good chance at winning as well. Like, if he does some things different there. So, I mean, if you can beat Serral, you can probably beat many players. Where, if anything, this is going to be Battlecruiser, but could also just be Heli and Banshee. You know, Banshee is so uncommon nowadays, right?
Yeah.
we don't really see it that much anymore. So whenever it could of course still be like Viking Stim, but usually you get a faster third CC with that, and you don't really need double gas. No, it's gonna be Viking Stim, or I guess Liberator is also
Stim.
possible. Yeah.
He's gonna go Viking. Just yeah, no, I'm kind of with you though, right? It's you're gonna have a lot of gas here, so your follow-up's gonna be pretty interesting. You know, because go ahead.
I think it could be Viking Lib. I actually seen him play this on Golden Wall, where he uses the first Viking to basically clear a path for his Liberator. The problem is if Zerg has Overlord speed and they see a second unit being produced from the starport, they pretty like it's not gonna be anything but either a medevac or a Lib, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Difficult to say.
Well, Reynor will lose one of the Overlords that's scouting to begin with, and hits a bit of a supply block there, and his one Overlord on the way won't actually do much to deal with that as he fights Hellions over in the natural expansion with slowlings and a drone surround, and that's pretty good for him as well. 4 Hellions for 2 drones, and only 5 lings as well, so he really didn't lose much in this. It's a really nice defense for him.
Yeah, this is very good, especially this early on in the game. The earlier you kill the Hellions, like the better your creep is gonna be, of course. So right now, there's only 2 Hellions on the map, and that's gonna be it for Dream, right? There's not gonna be more Hellions, so defending his wall and denying creep at the same time is going to be very hard. So Reynor's gonna get some freedom here. Dream needs to be afraid of Baneling Bust as well. Let's not forget that lately Reynor has been really fond of Baneling Bust whenever he kills Hellions early on in the game. It feels like every other game he's like, alright, 42 drones, throw down a Baneling Nest, and we're gonna build 35 links. Seen a couple of times against BC openers, but I guess he knows that this is a pretty safe opener from Dream. He's gonna have a lot of Marines quickly. Probably doesn't want to risk it after such a good early game.
Yep, and he just goes straight into melee upgrades as well, so he's not even going to mess around with a faster lair or anything, which I think Reynor in general, he's been quite vocal about not really liking Mutalisks in ZVT anymore. I'm not sure if he's still playing them a bit now and then, but in general, he definitely took a step away to kind of more Lingbane, you know, Lingbane only style, or some more Lingbane Hydra. So it's been something to kind of watch out for as well. And obviously for those styles, kind of rushing a lair doesn't make as much sense, because usually the whole point of the faster lair is faster Mutalisks.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the most common style. Like everyone and their mom is playing it, right? You get your quick lair and then evos after you build the Spire, or even after you build the Mutalisk a lot of the time. And then you use those first Mutalisks to basically stop the first medevac drop. But here Reynor instead is going to be rushing out these upgrades like you mentioned. He's not going to have Baneling speed either. So that's going to be interesting to see how he will deal with these first 2 medevacs. But yeah, he's staying on 4 gas for now. He's getting a macro hatch already, right? Or was he just getting... Yeah, he's getting a macro hatch somewhere.
Yeah, which means he's probably just going to play
the 3rd base, and he's getting a 5th base. So he should have plenty of larva ready to really go into this Lingbane style.
Queen straight out transfusions. I think just Queen Ling works for the first 2 medevacs. It's like the 1-1 push you really need something for, and in this case he's just going to have melee upgrades, right? So I either want to have Bane speed or the melee upgrades. They'll have melee upgrades this time around. So the next 2 medevacs coming over. This is a little bit before 1-1, but Reynolds isn't too far away. He should be alright. A few Banes already morphing as well. And he's actually just going to jump on this before the units are even unloaded, so Dream will not get an unload, but could maybe go into the main base instead.
Yeah, just seeing if he can get something done. And this is one of the disadvantages if you don't have those Mutalisks like we talked about. Where all of a sudden drops are very viable, even sieges up a tank. I think that's a little bit optimistic, but just get a couple of Banes with it. Does end up getting cleaned up, and then boom, just moves back down again. Queens and Lings will meet him there, so I think this is going to be the end of all that dead space abuse here coming out of Dream.
Good defense from Reynor. Just obviously with the tank sieging, it's a little bit scary, but he was on top of it. Queen's in position to stop anything else. Ling's a little late back into the main, so these Marines will have a good time there, and Reynor realizing that a little too slow, so does lose more than maybe needed, but he gets back in the main. It's just that mineral patch block, which is going to be annoying, and the Bane's still slow, trying to get back in here. They all get targeted down, as Dream eventually makes his lift and leave.
Yeah, that's the difference between West and East right there. If this was on the Eastern United States, all of those Marines would have died there, my friend. So glad that Reynor caught that early in that last game.
Guy Reynor giving us a game.
Yeah. He's still in a pretty decent spot, right? He's up in workers. His creep spread is looking okay. It's not super big, but it's healthy enough that none of his bases are really under any kind of threat anytime soon. Perhaps with the exception of the bottom right base, but that feels like a Stefano base. You remember how Stefano played Lingbane for a long time?
Yeah.
Where he just kind of expand into 6 different directions, and then he just lose bases and transfer drones all the time. He's like, I don't care about this one, I don't care about this one. And then as a Terran, you're constantly chasing Stefano building bases around them. Feels like that's what the plan is for Reynor as well. A little bit of an engagement here. Not going too hot for Dream as the cavalry arrives as well here for Reynor. We'll be able to clean up this tank, and this should be another lift on all of those Marines. Reynor floating a bit of money, but so is Dream. We see Dream going into a Forge CC already off of 5 racks, second factory on the way. So just going to be going into a longer game. Reynor feeling a bit ballsy here.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of terrifying for Dream because he does have Marines in the medevacs, but he just doesn't quite get here with everything he needs right away. He's got some links from the other side. The Bane connections on the low ground are good, so he's going to win the fight to, well, deny the third base mining. And that means all these SCVs are either going to go down or have to get lifted into medevacs. So, yeah, a good little fight in the end from Reynor. Is floating money, but well on his way to being able to afford those Hydras. So, as 2-2 kicks in, Reynor will leave. I actually didn't do as much damage here as I thought he might get done.
Yeah, I anticipated a bunch of SCVs going down. I guess the luck for Dream there was that there was no banelings remaining. Reynor really was floating an absolute crap ton of money during that as well, like 2.5k resources or so. He did manage to spend it all, of course, with the amount of hatcheries he has. That's not that weird. He has, what, six hatcheries at the moment. So he's looking healthy. He's going to be going into Lurker again. And we see +1 range on the way as well, the Hive. So we might be seeing the patented 2-2-1 Lurker timing that Reynor seems to be kind of fond of these days. I'm curious to see what Dream has as an answer there.
Yeah, but a lot of people kind of, I mean, this Lurker style kind of was a thing when the Lurkers got buffed a bit for Hive Tech. But now, I feel like Reynor is one of the only Zergs that really does this frequently. You know, Reynor, you could reliably say going into a series, he's probably going to play some Lurkers at some point in ZVT, as long as it's versus Bio. But anyone else, you'd be like a little bit more shocked. Even if they play Lingbane Hydra, they don't often go into the Lurkers unless they like get forced in like a much later game. So it's kind of funny because he finds so much success with this style, and so many people really struggle to deal with it even when they're ahead. And it's surprising no one else has really picked up on it yet.
Yeah, I think it might just be one of those things where I'm not even sure if the style is that good or if Reynor is just that good, you know?
Yeah.
And if you put it in someone else's hand, that it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, it's true.
We have some nice Liberator harass, preemptively clearing a base on the left side.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. As Dream tries to split over here in the center, but he kind of ended up splitting into just more banelings as Reynor maxed out. Lurk is on the way. Adaptive Talon's coming up. A little bit of Liberator harass to handle, but other than that, he's looking pretty scary as he comes up from a couple different sides and looks like he already wants to start fighting some bases.
He definitely does, and this fourth base is under heavy fire right now. Banelings rolling in. I don't think the Lurker count is here to all. Maybe with the Baneling support, might be able to just clear this base. A lot of Marines going down, but that wasn't the most cost-efficient trade at all for Reynor, who loses basically all of his Lurkers, bar 4, and loses his complete Baneling count as well. The run-by into the natural didn't do anything. There's still a couple of Banes going into the third. Perhaps we're going to catch some damage there, but Dream is at such a healthy worker count that even losing 10-12 SCVs, I mean, he still has fantastic income.
Yeah, I mean, there was just, I feel like if you just roll the Banes into Planetary first instead of the Marines, you kill the Planetary, and that's usually the goal of these attacks, right? To deny the economy of the Terran. So a bit surprised about that. Only gets 4 SCVs, now included the run-by on the natural, is now an attack in the bottom right, gets cleaned up and pushed back. Dream has to, you know, back away from there, as Reynor continues to defend very well. I mean, that's the one big thing, that Reynor has never really let Dream have any successful aggression in this game.
Yeah, he really hasn't had much of aggression, but I mean, do you really need to be aggressive if your opponent is trading as poor as Reynor is doing, right? He's down 6,000 in resources lost, almost doubling of what Dream has lost this game. So I feel like Dream is pretty content with how this is going. He's like, all right, you're mining more, but you're also losing more. So if we eventually go into a split map scenario, I'm gonna be winning, unless you manage to get a base up on me, but on this map, that's pretty freaking difficult if you look at the map layout.
Oh, loses 3 lurkers. He sets up over here, and it just feels like Reynor is so used to being able to almost just jump super aggressively into a lot of these positions, but Dream is handling it really well. I actually wonder what the resources loss was like before that big fight on the right side planetary beforehand. You see another set of units just running in here. This time Dream will have to lift up and back away as I wouldn't mind doesn't get too much on the tail end of that, but yeah, Dream's still maxed out and gotta be feeling pretty good about the way that these trades are going.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely would have to feel pretty good about it. He's almost doubling or halving the units lost count at this point. His 5th base is being set up. He has before he had a 3-army split, a bit on the bottom, a bit in the middle, a bit on the top, but now he's just going into a 2-army split where there's a significant part at the top and there's a significant part at the bottom. And I think this is the way to play against someone that wants to kill bases. You just expand a lot slower than you're used to, and you make sure that you don't take any bad fights, because at the end of the day, this composition of Reynor is really meant to be a very high-paced playstyle where you kill a lot of bases, do a lot of run-bys. And Dream is like, alright, if I can just kind of paralyze this game, if I can make this game go into a very still mode where I'm slowly but surely moving forward, I'm mining out my bases, then all of a sudden that army of Reynor isn't actually that effective whatsoever.
Yeah. For sure, as you see, these Lings just can't get in anywhere as well because the tanks are so well set up everywhere, right? Where is the opening? There's just none. Everywhere is a choke point. Maybe this central area here. That's obviously the closest spot where Dream can just have everything all of a sudden anyway. So it's not really ideal for Reynor fighting. As now a drop will pull some of his units back. He's actually deciding to commit through for the fight. Turns back around as Dream chased in for some lurkers. And that means that Reynor still hasn't responded to this attack on the bottom left properly. Might lose a hatchery. There's also a drop in his main base and an attack on the bottom right. So suddenly Dream is in 3 different places. And Reynor, well, he won't lose the base on the left side, it seems, but he might lose the bottom right and his main. I mean, already lost 10 drones.
It's so sick because I didn't even realize it was happening, and I have full vision. I was so focused on the other things, where Dream was moving towards that middle to defend the general area, and now he's clearing a lot of creep as well. Lurker then went down. That bottom right does survive, but Dream keeps on dropping. He's gonna kill 10 workers here, and yeah, this really puts Reynor a bit on the back foot. Losing all that creep towards that 5th base of Dream is gonna allow Dream to actually start moving towards the 6th. Now, I am wondering if Dream actually should be doing that. And the reason I say that is not because I don't think he can, but is it necessary for him right now to take a 6th base? He still has quite some minerals on that 5th, he has some on that 4th, he's mining at least a little bit from the 3rd, and he still has a bit of a bank as well. I feel like his defensive position right now is so good that spreading himself thinner might actually give Reynor an opportunity to do some damage. As you see Reynor jump across the map, get a couple of tanks. These ghosts are exposed at this point. We have a baning run by coming in from the south side as well. He's gonna bum rush into a couple of these tanks. Not the perfect engagement for Reynor, but finally an engagement where it looks like he kind of trades evenly at least, and he still has a very high worker count. He has a decent bank as well, so I kind of like that trade, honestly, Wardy.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, look at the resources lost though. He's 15k behind, which seems so excessive for 17 minutes in the game. Like right now, I'd expect this to be like 8 or 9k. And he's lost his base on the left-hand side. So yeah, he's mining the bottom right, but I'm starting to feel a bit more worried for Reynor. I mean, yeah, he finally gets a better fight, but maybe just still too little too late. He is getting corruptors now as well, so something extra to help out here against, or maybe potential liberators that he expects to come on out. He doesn't really have a great aspire to transition into Brood Lords. Way to fight the medevacs and the drops as well.
The problem that I have here is that, like I said earlier, now all of a sudden if you look at the right side, the defense there for Dream is so much worse than it was before, that now the split army style that Reynor was playing might actually be effective. We see Dream completely rotating towards the top side, as Reynor actually scrambles to get a defense in place for his own left base. I'm not entirely sure still about this 6th base and the way he's taking it.
Well, Pains go rolling in. They find a few units, but a lot of the ghosts survive. Looking for some snipes now as they aim for corruptors. I mean, lurkers are some of the prime targets as well. Some transfusions come down. The Vipers don't have much to add just yet. As Lings come in from the top side, so the last few units of Dream are going to start bleeding out. Nice blinding cloud to push the ghosts away. And of course, there the corruptors really coming into use, cleaning out the medevacs. So now you can't just lift up those ghosts and evacuate them. So Reynor is going to be able to chase and clean up pretty much everything. That's every ghost that went down. I mean, there was nothing left at all for Dream.
Yes, and this was the first fight where Reynor actually was slightly more cost efficient than Dream, and all of a sudden the game looks really bad for Dream, right? He's down 40 supply. He's not quite mining as much as Reynor. Reynor still has a very healthy gas bank as well. I mean, he's been on 93, 95 drones this entire game. His upgrades, especially for range units, are lacking a little bit, right? He only has +1 on range, and there is a lot of lurkers in this army every single time, so I wouldn't mind seeing some extra attention being used there. And yeah, there we go. +2 starts researching. We see Grooved Spine starting as well. Is there still any Vipers on the map? There's 4 Vipers on the map. Okay.
They have full energy as well. They just went up to consume, so it makes this next attack from Reynor very scary for Dream, because with those Vipers coming into play, haven't had the ghost count reset once just now. That was a very expensive remax from Dream he just had to spend, and now he's not really set up in a better position to fight this. Reynor's going to start running straight in. Lurkers are going to get on top, and well, there's the Blinding Clouds. Maybe a little bit late. The Lurkers took a lot of damage on the way forward there, but man, Reynor just crushes through this, and he's instantly ready with the remax, and that's a remax that Dream just cannot afford.
Yeah, it does look like that. This drop on the bottom side, though, might actually pull Reynor back for now. There's still some defense at home for Dream as well. Bottom base falls for Reynor, but good Blinding Cloud, Lurkers moving forward. Corruptor's doing some work here as well. And what is there really left here for Dream to defend? Honestly, not that much.
Yeah.
And Reynor keeps pushing across the map, still has 8 larvae in the bank. This guy never runs out of larvae. It's funny because I haven't mentioned it once this game, but it's kind of common for, especially if you play such a Ling-heavy style, to kind of run out of larvae at some point. But Reynor had so many hatcheries all game long. His injects were so good that he never really struggled there. He never floated a lot of money after a fight and was like, crap, I can't spend it. He could always spend it, and that's such a big thing that people underestimate.
Well, at this point, Reynor's obviously got everything under control. He's got this natural siege, he's got Lings in the 3rd, he's got Lurkers on the 4th base. And he's just continuing to push on through, and impressive game, because I honestly felt like Dream had some good control of it, and Reynor was once again able to turn it around. And I feel like it's a consistent trend of Reynor games lately in the ZVT matchup, where it feels like the Terrans get some good control, and then Reynor was just able to say, nope, actually, it's all good, I've got this, no worries at all. And he's able to pick up the win.
Am I going to deny your invite, also my own, and then I'm going to steal a qualifying spot by qualifying? It's like, holy crap. Like, the brain on this guy is so big. You can't even make this stuff up.
I wonder how much of it's just miscommunication or something, but like, it makes for a great story.
Let's hope that Rogue did not do this on purpose, just to piss off Maro. That would be quite something.
All right.
So here we have game number 2, and we're seeing a 3-Rex. A little bit of a 3-Rex play coming out of Dream here. And we'll see how he does it exactly. Of course, there's multiple ways you can 3-Rex. Sometimes you see all Rexes together. Sometimes you see one hidden behind. The first time I saw that was, I think, Uthermal doing it. Uthermal always was quite far ahead of the curve at the Proxy Rex mind games, right?
Yeah.
He always was quite good at it. I think it was against Sue in Nation Wars that I first saw him do it. I was like, man, that's brilliant. Because the response against 3 and 2 Rex is vastly different. Against 2 Rex, you definitely want to be pooling a lot of drones, but against 3 Rex, because of that extra marine, pooling drones actually can cost you the game. And something like a roach response and giving up your hatchery is completely viable against 3 Rex. So we'll see how Reynor deals with it. He's not gonna find it for quite a while, honestly, if he's even gonna find it at all, because that second Overlord eventually is gonna go back to his natural to make sure that no bunkers are being built, right? That's like the insurance policy. Okay, he's gonna move to the left, he's gonna find it. And he played first.
Yeah, he's pulled first and 6 Lings. He's actually in an amazing spot, just accidentally. The thing is, it's ice and chrome, so it's so large that it's almost like it's either mech right, in which case you don't mind a pull first all the time. You know, it's not going to come into play too much, but most importantly, if it, you know, the other thing that Terrans do is they 3-Racks, and then you've got 6 Lings already running at 2 Marines, so yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So Lings are gonna swoop around, try to cut off reinforcing Marines here. Dream needs to realize that and go back. He can't let any Marines die here. I think one Marine might just walk straight into his death. Oh my, did you see that? You think Reynor knew the timing?
Yeah, and he
that is
moved
so
it.
sick. Yeah, the way he moved the Lynx was like a move to catch a Marine. Oh?
Jindrake, is this Pommy again? Pommy's had some solid connection issues today. Ay, ay, ay.
Aye. Pull me. There's 3 more Marines out right now, so if we think of how this will go, right? There's gonna be a queen. I think the queen should be out already at this point. There's 2 more SCVs actually making his way across the map, so Dream is going all out with this. I mean, there's really not that much you can do, right? Like, once you have 3 racks, it's not like there's a good transition behind. Like,
Yeah.
your transition is the SCV pool. It's not really a transition. That's just doubling down or tripling down.
Yeah, there's 3 racks is just so committed. It's crazy how much like 1 extra barracks just commits you, right? Compared to like a 2 racks, which is so easy to transition out of. It's the difference there is really insane. We will get
you studied engineering, Wardy. Why is that?
I mean,
why is the 3rd barracks so much more committed?
Yeah, I didn't study.
Use your degree for something for once in your life.
I didn't study engineering, so.
What did you study?
Physics. Completely different. Hey, this bunker's not going up, man.
It is.
Well, it is, but I feel like he didn't have to, because I feel like this SCV should have died. Oh, well. There's 0
this is
repair.
actually pretty good for a Dream,
Yeah.
no?
There's not, if he gets any amount of repair on the bunker, oh, that's really bad for Reynor. This fell apart pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah, is it over yet, though? I mean, there's a single SCV that can be single shot by any unit. There's a spine out.
I don't think it's over.
Marine count, though.
There's also a queen about to have a transfuse to help the spine crawler, which is pretty big, and there's so many lings, so there's obviously not ideal compared to what it maybe should have been, but I think this is still okay for Reynor. Only thing is he has no ling speed, right? So it's very difficult for him to actually engage this. So he's going to go in now. He gets rid of the SCV, so the bunker will fall as he pushes the Marines back. This is nice because the lings are fighting out of range of the bunker, right? So the lings get a lot of damage without taking full damage from the, every single Marine. And now it's spawning a couple of queens, but he has to save the hatchery, which is going to get awkward because it's already super low. And obviously losing the hatchery is a big loss, and maybe he justifies this for Dream as he gets one of those queens, and now the spine's not burrowed, trying to relocate. Drones have to pull into tank. Loses 6 more workers, and that probably is getting to the point of game-ending damage.
I mean, as long as this hatchery stays alive, is it really game-ending damage? I mean, there's going to be a command center down. The problem here for Reynor is that if there were no Marines left at this point, he could just go full on. Like, he could cancel speed and get like 6 drones, right?
Yeah.
And it would be all good. The problem here is he needs to keep building lings. And he can't really even afford to match the Marine count that is being built. So I like that Dream decides to not go back home. He faked going back home though, didn't he? He lifted the barracks. Or was it just to kill the Overlord?
Just kill the Overlord, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be one hell of a fake.
I mean, Reynor sees the command center across the map as well, though, right? So he kind of knows the CC's there. These lings are going to dive with ling speed and makes it a better fight. And the Marines are a little bit slow to start kiting back. So he's going to clean out all the Marines. I mean, across the map, right, there's nothing. So he actually has nothing at home. These lings can just camp the barracks and force them to lift off. And now Reynor is in good control. He cancelled the CC on the low ground with a couple lings, and now you can just drone. I like this a lot more for Reynor.
Yeah, this game went from 0 to 100 back to a 0 to 100 real fast.
Yeah, it really did, right? I mean, this is actually so annoying. I mean, how long are you going to have to pull SCVs to repair this? You've got 0 production until, what, the racks make it home? The factory finishes?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, what, 1 Marine? So that's going to be very costly here. We see income already getting very even right now, just because Dream needs to pull so many SCVs. Sends 2 back home. He wants to get a little more money, obviously. Another thing, of course, is having to cancel that command center is painful as well. There could have been a second mule mining at this point already. Perhaps more SCV production as well. Now, work account-wise, it's still looking fine for Dream, but production-wise, I mean, the next thing he's going to be able to do is going to move across the map with a single Hellion in like half a minute from now. That's not quite it either, you know?
I mean, it just means Reynor gets forever to just drone up, right? So now he's equal on workers. He's going to be able to go beyond that. You know, he's getting his creep spread out with 0 harassment, on it either. So yeah, this is pretty rough for Dream in that regard. And he's actually trapped a bunch of his SCVs in, right? He has to lift the racks to get them out, I think.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't think yeah, low in the deep, but that was smart. 200 IQ.
200 IQ.
Well, more IQ than me at least.
I mean, even if he needs to lift the racks, I mean, that's not really the end of the world, right?
No, not really.
It's
Just like being negative.
He might be going for some weird stim Hellbat timing.
Just like all in off of like 1.5 base economy or so.
Yeah, he's gonna get a starport as well.
Medevac's not bad.
Yeah, of course, Medevac's not bad. He could also, I mean, he has no E-base. There's not gonna be a third CC anytime soon. He's gonna get a reactor. I think that reactor's for the starport. I think he's gonna get 2 Medevacs, push out with like 4 or 5 Hellions, and then a bunch of Marines, and then hope for the best. This is a 2-base all-in if I've ever seen one, Wardy.
I mean, I like it. He's building an engineering bay in the back as well, though. I was kind of with you, though, because that's the sort of weird attack as well, which is very hard to read because it's a very weird scenario of the game, right? So for Reynor, it's hard to scout, it's hard to know what's coming, it's hard to make the right amount of units versus drones to deal with it. So I wouldn't have minded it at all.
The thing is, I think... Again, okay, yeah, it's going to be armory, so most likely a Hellbat follow-up, actually, with single Medevac then. I kind of like this. The thing is, usually I'd say that Reynor is quite good in these scrappy situations because his general playstyle is scrappy, right? He's not a very linear player. I don't think he knows a lot of absolute timings, but I think he knows a lot of relative timings where, like, there's people like me who have to remember every timing, like, 410 is when this can hit, 425 is when this hit, but Reynor is more relative than that. He's like, okay, I have about 41 drones right now, or I have this many units, or I have this feeling in the game. He's more based on things that he sees and how he feels the game, how he perceives the game to go. So I feel like usually he'd be better in this situation, but there's no Baneling Nest yet. He's getting a lot of links, he's getting more queens. It's gonna go up to 7 queens, Baneling Nest on the way now, but it's gonna be a little bit late, so perhaps didn't quite perceive this game as well as he should have. Combat shield is on the way as well, so this by no means is all in, but there's no third CC behind this, Wardy.
There is not. There's absolutely nothing, so it definitely feels like it's definitely a big commitment to trying to get some damage done. You can take a third CC now, but that's obviously super late, and Reynor sees the timing of it, so he's very aware of that, and he runs forward with those lings. You'll see a bit of his issue, and he has got the Bane Nest close to finishing, and even better, I think the Carapace upgrade really goes a long way against these Marines, but that's also 30 seconds out for the moment.
Yeah, Dream cannot push into this spine though. He's gonna have such a rough time there. 4 Banes do start right now. There's 5 Hellbats here, but they're not really in front. Good transfuses going down. Lings are trying to get something on, try to win some time for these Banelings to finish. Banelings are about to finish up. There's a Ling run by on the other side of the map as well, not really being controlled right now, but this is honestly the best possible hold. No, I don't even think he lost anything. He lost a couple of creep tumors. Yeah. As I say that, he walks off creep with 7 queens, loses 2 queens, but I mean, this is as successful as you're gonna get.
Yep, shut down some reinforcements with that Ling run by as well, right? So you really stop them from getting even more units across the map, which is also a pretty big feature of this. He's going to see some more creep going down and establishing in the center and just getting more and more control. You kind of mentioned, right, he lost like a couple of creep tumors, but that's replaced so quick by this queen count that now he has a safe buffer in front of the 3rd base. The 4th base is going up, and Dream is what? Just now lifting, not even a morphed in orbital to his 3rd base, so that hurts as well. Just no mules for a little while. It's not building up energy already. Yeah, Reynor feels pretty good.
No Baneling speed though.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing he's really missing here. That would make life so much easier.
Yeah, there is 8 queens though, and there's not that many Marines, but still a little bit scary, of course, with the micro that Dream has. Now, Marines are going down against those queens. Banelings are moving forward, and on creep, even without Baneling speed, they manage to get some type of connections. So this is gonna be a push that gets pushed back. We see Dream trailing behind in economy, trailing behind in upgrades as well, even though right now he's getting his +2 faster than Reynor is, but I feel like Reynor, he understands how much time he's gonna get, and he throws down a Spire. He is probably gonna drone up to 75, 80, maybe even go up to 8 gas before he really starts focusing on workers again. For now it seems like 6 gas is going to be it though.
Yep, and with the mutas on the map, he takes so much control away from Dream, right? The potential to drop around, which is maybe one of Dream's ways back into this. It just gives him control if you can get those mutas up, and I mean, you can see he's in a comfortable, spot, right? He feels good because he starts a 5th base already as well. I mean, Dream just starts a 4th base right away, and if, that's a huge sign from Dream, I think, where he's like, man, I'm in a bit of trouble this game. Like, I just need to kind of sit back. I'm not going to win this trying to win on 3 bases. I need to sit back, chill out, and play fourth base. But the other weird thing is, right, we talked about how bad this map is for Bio, but he's kind of been forced into playing Bio because of the way this all opened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he really had no other choice, right? He couldn't really start producing single Hellions from the one factory that he had while having 4 barracks at home. That doesn't quite seem to be the strategy here. Single mine drop actually gonna kill, what, 4 workers? Not too bad. He's gonna be pretty happy with that. There's a marine drop in the natural. That base is low, but not low enough as the banelings roll in and put an end to that little party.
When counterattack doesn't do anything, Roto Mine and Hellbat defense is good. The thing is, though, you mentioned the upgrade difference, right? And when Reynor hits 2-2, he'll be up a carapace upgrade again, so that's another little benefit. And I mean, again, I think for Reynor, there's not really much reason to necessarily take a lot of big fights just yet until he maxes out, and then he can, you know, max out, fight, build again, max out, fight, build again, and it feels like Dream should struggle to deal with that. 60 workers right now, and I'm sure he'll get a few more as he goes to 4 bases, but it is just such a slow 4 base for playing 4 bases against a Zerg who's been expanding non-stop.
Yeah, I really like what Dream did here, though. He got a very fast Fort CC before Barracks 4 and 5, I believe, even. Or at least before Barracks 5. I guess he had the 4th Barracks already.
Yeah,
he had a 2 Barrack now going up to 6. Second factory as well. So he's trying to crawl back into this game, and with a very, very patient playstyle, he might be able to do it. He has a drop in the main base of himself, so he can deal with any type of muta harass. There's turrets everywhere, +3 attack is starting, and even though he's down a carapace upgrade, obviously armor for Terran doesn't matter as much as it does for Zerg, right? My good friend Special always tells me that banelings don't care about upgrades, and that is kind of true. The only thing they really care about is about attack upgrades of the Marines, because then they might die a bit faster. We do have a big Link Bane run by going towards his 4th base, and we know what the plan here is for Reynor, right? He wants to get a kill on one of those bases. We see a lot of Baning splitting up towards the 3rd base, probably not going to be able to get any hits there, and Planetary survives as well, so good defense here by Dream, no?
Dream holds on. Reynor does get the mutas out from a tricky position that they were kind of stuck between the main and the bottom of the map, so he gets them out of there at least, so maybe he wins that with this fight, but yeah, not bad for Dream. I said it in the last game, right? With these attacks, you're generally always looking to try and deny some economy. You know, that's the big win. So this was a good trade out, but Dream's economy continues to stand strong, and it was an okay trade for Dream.
Yeah, so the thing there was that it felt like that Reynor got a bit too greedy with the damage that he wants to do, right? It felt like he wanted and to kill SCVs on the 3rd, and to get a lot of Marines, and then perhaps throw some banelings into the 4th base as well. Well, I think if he would have focused all of his efforts on really killing that planetary, and then a couple of banes to chase away the Marines and the mines, that might have been good enough as well. And he actually would have been able to get a base there. And if there's no 4th base here for Dream, Dream's in an absolute crap ton of trouble.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, as Dream deals with these mutalisks, they just go between the bases, just being a little bit annoying. Reynor on his way to Hive already, of course, so we're already talking about the potential of Ultras, etc. in the near future. And that's obviously something to keep in mind as well, right? If Reynor can get up to that Hive tech nice and quick, it's, again, sooner that Dream has to move away from just pure bio with a couple forward support. So there's something else he has to try and afford. But off 4 bases, you can afford that, and then you can play from there to base number 5. So yeah, Dream is not in as bad a position as it could be. And this Ling Run by is going to hit, SCVs are going to pull, and then immediately there's going to be an army here to help out with this. And Reynor might actually just end up losing a lot of Lings. Has to run off to the side where there's even more units, and all of these Lings are just going to die for what? 1 SCV kill?
If even.
Yeah.
If even. So, yeah, not showing the great prowess that he did with the Lurker style, but the Mutalisk style does seem to be a little bit worse for him here, as Banelings are moving forward, trying to get a couple of mines, perhaps trying to get a Marine here and there as well, but Dream is looking scary here. +3 did finish up. I feel like the mine count might be a little bit too low to truly start pushing forward onto creep like he is doing right now. I mean, we still have 22 Banelings, 14 more on the way.
Yeah. Feels like Dream doesn't really want to trade out right now, because then if he trades out and he has to remax, Reynor's remax is going to be on Ultras, and then Dream has to worry about that too. And kind of prepare for that in some way. Reynor has so many Banes coming in, but he is fighting this all from one position, and there's just no splash damage here though. You mentioned it, like very few Widow Mines, they've all been set off / picked away at, so Reynor can just run through this choke point, and yeah, it takes a little while, but eventually he's going to clean this all out, and he never took any major hits in this, and the supply difference coming out of this is massive.
Yeah, a lot of Muras did end up falling, and there is some reinforcements, but yeah, the lack of splash really showing there. I mean, the creep got cleaned up nicely. Reynor does need to do something about that. We see a couple of tumors going down immediately. Run by being set up. This is really the power of Reynor, right?
Yeah.
Immediately realizing, hey, he's rallying across the map. Perhaps my links can do something here. He's gonna get spotted by the sensor tower now, and if Dream is quick, he should be able to respond to this. There's one mine in position already. It's not gonna get a hit. At least not a major hit. I get a link. He actually does get literally a single link. I would love for Dream to just go back for a bit and wait until he has slightly higher supply, until that Marauder count builds up again. Because right now, 5 Marauders against 3 Ultras, that ain't it, my friend. That ain't it. And I know you don't want those Ultras to get the upgrades, but I'm not quite sure about the push out right now.
Yeah, the only good thing I think is if he stays off creep, the Ultras can't really chase as easily because they obviously don't have that speed upgrade for off creep right now, right? So in that regard, maybe he's kind of somewhat safe on the map. Reynor doesn't seem to care. Of course, that upgrade only really matters if you've got space to kite back, and now he's going to be pushed into a corner. He does have a drop on the top. Reynor's got lings on the way, so he gets a few drones. Will Reynor continue in to hit this base and try and take this down? There's a lot of Widow Mine potential this time, so a lot of those have rebuilt in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this attack by Reynor. I don't think that's going to work. His creep spread is looking pretty weak in the middle of the map right now. And this is what I was talking about. This seems like a good time for Dream to move out right now. His 5th base is established. He has a mine there. He has a planetary that is finished. And there's almost no creep on the map still. And his Marauder count went up to 10. He has 15 mines. Jeez. How are you even going to engage into this off creep?
The mine goes off, Ultra takes a hit as he's just going to fight straight into this. Reynor is got a couple beams around the top as well, man. He just, once again, just slices through this army without really feeling like he's ever in trouble. He's got some Corruptors coming out. They can chase Medivacs. They could obviously deal with the Liberators that are coming out to try and deal with the Ultras. And it just feels like Dream never really got a proper answer to this later game army as Reynor continued to tech up. Felt like Dream just tried to end the game before that tech came onto the map.
I have absolutely no clue what just happened there. I was asking myself, how is Reynor gonna win? And Reynor just walks in, kills everything, walks out. Even Anabolic Synthesis didn't finish until the end of that fight. It was completely off creep as well. That made absolutely zero sense to me and probably to Dream as well. Like, man, I had so many Marauders, had so many mines. What am I supposed to do against this army? And perhaps Liberators is indeed the answer that he is looking for now. Dream once again managed to get to 165 supply. He has a pretty healthy Marauder count.
Game paused.
Dream pausing the game. He's feeling some lags. Might explain a thing or two about that last fight.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't affect him too much there. I wonder if Reynor just kind of caught him up against a wall, right? So it's so difficult to kind of back away in that last fight. It's kind of weird how those things can work sometimes. Looks like we're going to get straight back into this anyway, though. Dream says go, go. Reynor resumes. And Reynor is looking ready to maybe crash into this 3rd base, which has been up a long time. Dream's doing a great job of keeping it alive so far, but might be a different story this time. But for the moment, it's enough.
Yeah, here we have Dream trying to kite a little bit back into a defensive position, but with no planetary at this base, there's really not that much to be gained here by moving back. There's a couple of mines coming in. We'll be able to get some good hits off. Is Dream going to be able to stabilize? I'm not quite sure. Reynor is not actually at the biggest bank or the biggest economy. I mean, he has 81 workers, but Dream actually is outmining him with the mules at the moment. Reynor does have that bottom base established already, so it's 6 base against 5 currently. Oh, Dream moving across the map. This is not the time, my friend. Yeah, this is...
This was the moment where actually Dream was like good enough just to like not die to reinforcements, right? But now he gives Reynor the chance to just take a fight where his units are all over. His Medivacs aren't even getting a chance to heal these units up properly. And obviously with the Corruptors out, the Medivacs might take some extra hits in the next couple of fights. There's not too many Corruptors, but just a few here or there. Reynor will also back off and just get some more Ultras out, but he's also adding in some Infestors, so the potential for fungal growth here is also going to be massive.
Yeah, now we're seeing that orbital fly towards that right side, and that's going to be such a vulnerable spot for Dream. Basically, any kind of push or any kind of defense he's going to do, he will need to keep in mind that there's no planetary there, which usually is kind of an anchor point, right? It's a place where you can kite back to, move back to, that provides some safety by itself. You see run by with an ultra and it seems to be like 20 banelings, clearing up a lot of marines at least. Still not the most effective traits here for Reynor, but a Ling run by towards that 6 base immediately shuts it down. Yeah, this is what I'm afraid of when I see an orbital command fly to a 6 base location, and you look at the bottom part of the screen and the name of the Zerg is Reynor or several. You just know this kind of stuff is gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, it's I will say though, you know, you mentioned Reynor's bank and economy, and he is struggling to kind of max out again when Dream. His numbers are going up. We're going to be maxed out versus maxed out again. And okay, maybe Dream's not on the best army comp, but it's something at least. It's better than maybe what you would have expected him to be at. And maybe this time he can find a magical fight where he can kill off all those ultras and get some momentum going into a base or two.
And that bottom base is really difficult to defend. There's no real possibility for a flank there. You can kite back forever. There's almost no creep. We see mines are being set up in like a path where you can just kind of go back towards. Ling run by being set up towards that natural and perhaps the third of Dream. Is there any reinforcements? Yes, there is. So that's going to be good. There's a healthy Marauder count as well. Dream's army looking scary again. Very, very feisty.
These Ling strike, though, and they get 10 SCVs, forcing a lift off. Reinforcements are running through, and Reynor will take that fight as a fungal growth lands in the main fight as well. Corruptor's coming through to chase the Medivacs, and Reynor just chases this off creep and pushes this away. And these
massive mine hit in there. They killed like 10 Banes as well. 2 mines do end up falling before they get another mine hit in. Mines trying to slowly crawl forward. Marauder count still at 15, mine count still at 11. There's a drop at the top side.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Wow, saves it with 1 hit to go. We're going to be seeing another fight down on the bottom side here. Reynor continues to run in. Corruptor's picking off the Medivac, so there's no healing on this bio anymore. And the difference that makes is huge, because now obviously this bio can't just kind of fight again and again. Corruptor's going to caustic spray this orbital, and these SCVs are trapped as well, so Dream is going to take major eco damage this time. Corruptors have to pull off the base to go and get the Liberator. It's a fungal growth landing from every direction, and these ultras have done so much. They will go down. Even this last one, which was chasing, wow, he's making a pretty good effort to get away, and if he keeps running, he will get away. But he kills that base, he kills a lot of workers. One thing I just noticed, by the way, no adrenal glands this entire time. That would have made a huge difference in so many of these fights.
What do you think, Wardy? Is that a mistake or a conscious decision?
What, you think Reynor's doing like a, well, maybe with adrenal glands it's just too easy, you know?
Yeah, perhaps. The Dream's eco might look like crap, but his army is looking ever more scary. Don't forget, a lot of the supply for Reynor is in those Corruptors as well, which are great if you're winning a fight, but if you're not winning a fight, the Corruptors aren't going to help you win a fight. They're kind of an amplifier of the fight, right? Like if you're winning it, you're going to win harder because you kill all the Medivacs, but if you're not winning a fight, then you're just going to lose all your Corruptors to the Marines that stay left over. Mine drop at the top side of the map. 2 Marauders as well will be able to snipe that base. I can't believe how Reynor is winning fight after fight. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you look at this little clump of Dream's army, though, right? And it's just a bunch of bio, no Medivacs anymore. And, I mean, Dream's eco is obviously hurting a bit more than it used to, but then again, so is Reynor's, having lost 14 drones now. It's pretty substantial. And he's not mining with so many drones on the top as well, by the way. There's just like a clump of like 14 workers AFK.
Oh, beautiful surround here coming out of Reynor. Even without the adrenal glands, these Lings will be able to clean that up. There's a couple of mines here. Might be able to get some good hit on these Lings. Not the greatest hits. A lot of Lings stay alive for now. As the Corruptors looking for Medivacs, which aren't there. Right now, we're not really playing MMM, but just Marine Marauder, which this is going back into Wings of Liberty very deep. 10 more workers have gone down to that 1 mine in that, I guess this was originally the 3rd base of Reynor. We now see the orbital command once again getting caustic spray down. Marauders trying to target down, and this game is absolutely insane.
There's actually just no anti-air to save these stop these Corruptors, and so they're just going to sit here and pick away at the Medivacs Marauders on their own. And now there's also no Widow Mines, which were kind of the one thing that was killing the Lings. To protect the Marauders, a few reinforcements show up, so Reynor has to back away as Dream dips below 100 supply for the first time in a very long time, and well, still just feels like Reynor has the slight edge. He's adding in some of these very cost-effective units, such as the Infestors. And Dream is lifting up another orbital. This time his 3rd base orbital to try and take a base, and that's always just got, you know, desperation written all over it from a Terran player.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, he did manage to really cripple the opponent's economy too. 2 queens are gonna get picked off here. The medevac count is at 1. So literally a single medevac on the map right now. And that bottom base is looking very, very juicy for Dream though. I think he can still take that down. Is there a couple of mules available here? There is. Does he want to use them or does he save it for scan? I think you just want a mule at this point, right? There's almost no creep anyway. Reynor once again starting to move forward.
Yeah. It's just crazy that you've got 1 orbital on the map 27 minutes in, and it's half HP sitting in the middle base. Yeah. I mean, that's really something.
Oh, here comes a mine drop towards that bottom base. It's gonna get... I really love this because this is always gonna get at least 1 or 2 workers. He's gonna get every single worker here. He's gonna get 7. He should save these mines. No.
Maybe he doesn't think he can get there with the corruptors.
Oh.
I agree. Feels like a mistake.
But Reynor's gonna let it go.
But yeah, he also doesn't clean it up.
On the top.
Well, he's...
No oversteer.
He's gonna come around, he's gonna... I mean, he might catch this army. If he catches it without the Widow Mines burrowed, this is really good for him. There's so many fungals available. As this army comes in from the left side, he might just be able to zone that army on the left with fungal growths for a while and kind of keep it away while the Ultras kind of fight half the army. He might just be the way to do this as the fungal growths start to come in. The Ultras are struggling to get in range, but they're getting there now. Those fungals have been massive. The Widow Mines don't really connect, and Reynor will continue to run in. The Ling's taking the charge, the Ultras behind, even Transfusion showing up as well. The orbital has to lift off, and the Corruptors are chasing the final orbital of the game down, and it's going to be too much. GG from Dream at 28 minutes for Reynor to clean up this series 2-0, but what an effort from Dream after a weird start.